Hi, and welcome to another episode of More Sports. I'm your host, Devin Moore, and today we're going to try something new. We're going to try a new series called Mini Episode Series, and in this series, I'll just talk about one particular thing, and however long it lasts is how long it lasts. And before we dive on in, I just want to apologize to everyone about the crazy upload schedule, me releasing new episodes. Of course, I don't work on this podcast full time. One day I would love to, but work schedule gets busy, release an episode. I'm like, alright, well, I'll record something here in 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks turns into a month, and you're like, oh, probably need to record something. So again, I apologize for the crazy upload schedule. That's why I wanted to create this mini series. I was like, well, I'll just create mini episodes if life gets too hectic, so that way you, the fans, can sit back and enjoy this content, because without you guys I wouldn't be here, and as always I'm thankful. And so we're going to go on with our first mini episode is going to be about, of course, if you saw the title of this episode, it's about them dogs, UGA football. And so now let's talk about them dogs as they're getting ready for the SEC Championship this Saturday. Number 1 Georgia versus number 11 LSU Tigers at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Kickoffs at 4 o'clock? Question mark. I like how I just forgot. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Same old, same old. Check out the game. It'll be, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And let me tell you something, as an hardcore dog fan, I'm ready for the game. I'm hoping for Georgia's for the best, but you never know, because right now everybody's saying that LSU's freshman Arnold Perkins will be a wreck to the SEC Championship. A lot of people are saying. And, I like it when my screen freezes. Oh, there we go. That's like Arnold Pickers is starting for LSU, and many people are saying that he'll be the crushers of Georgia's SEC Championship dreams if he cannot be stopped. For starters, his claims that Pickens has played beyond the level of most freshmen. He's third in the conference sacks with 7.5. He also leads LSU in the category, along with a noticing 11 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception. And let me tell you something. That's a stat we don't mess with. This middle linebacker is going to be causing havoc. I'm telling you, if they're blitzing hard. UGA's old lineman better be ready for him. And, better be ready for him, because it's going to be a long way. And Kirby Smart has also made this comment when it comes to Perkins. Has said they've changed up the way they use him throughout the year. That's what good defensive coordinators do. They try to find different ways to put him in and maybe mismatch and utilize him. And you have to know where he is, and you need to know where he is at all times, because he's really athletic. He's very disruptive, and you make your teams aware of it. And so Kirby Smart says he's aware of his playmaking ability, and he's not scared, and he's ready to rock and roll. And that's what I love. And if I had to make a prediction, I'm going to be honest with you. This season, it just feels like Georgia's offense, man, sometimes they start coming out slow and steady, and they just don't produce very well. And it's kind of shocking as a Georgia fan. You're like, man, I hope they can get it together, and then they seem to not get it. But it is what it is. It happens. They need to come out starting strong and fast. I think this game's going to be primarily defense for the first half of the game, and everybody will make their adjustments. This should be exciting. But I'm thinking Georgia will be up by 2. Georgia will walk away with 2 touchdowns, and we'll see what happens this Saturday at the SEC Championship. It's going to be fun. And, speaking of the SEC Championship, I was just thinking, before the Dogs get there, they had to do the old rivalry itself. Good old-fashioned hate. And this weekend, it was no different as the Georgia Bulldogs went down to face the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And boy, let me tell you, wasn't nothing good about that game. It was nothing but a good old smackdown with Georgia winning 37-14, half a score difference. And let me tell you, and that's one thing that scares me about the SEC Championship. Georgia's offense kind of came out slow, man. Kind of came out slow and collected, but by that third quarter, they turned on that. They turned that switch and got the job done. But you got to give credit to they give credit to those. Got to give credit to Georgia Tech with that offense, man. It was tricky sometimes when you play teams that like to run that option play. You go after those backers, go after that dive man. All of a sudden, nobody covers that pitch, man. He starts eating up yards, man. They did a little bit. Nobody's guarding that pitch, man. It was just over, man. That's what got them yards. Let me tell you something. When I was just sitting back trying to enjoy the game, couldn't enjoy the game with the Georgia Yellow Jackets just chomping up field possession for nearly half the first quarter. And it's just like, man, I swear, if this is the one time that Georgia Tech wins in like forever and just destroys Georgia's season of going to the college football playoffs, I would basically cry. But so I got curious here. Actually, earlier today, I was like, I wonder what's the background history to good old-fashioned hate. Because lately, it doesn't feel like a rivalry if you're a Georgia fan. If you're a Georgia Tech fan, it just feels like you're going down to Athens or you're going into Atlanta for a, what's the old saying goes, a slobber knocker. So I started doing some research. So the first ever Georgia Tech game was in 1893. And that's when the first games ever started. It was a pretty cool little matchup. I wonder if I can let's see. Oh, let's see. What happened to my in 1893, it was actually a home games in Athens, and it was actually Georgia lost 6-28. And then they won the following couple of years in 1897. Their first victory was 28-0. If you look at the records, this was a non-stop win for the Bulldogs until they tied in 1902 in Atlanta. And then Georgia won that following year in 1903 at 38-0. And then Georgia started going from a losing streak from 1905 to 1907 with a bunch of some wins closer to the others. The smallest win here was 6-10. Boy, I'd hate for that bus ride. But it's just a slobber knocker of losses. And then that's one thing about doing research about this game. It's like every couple of years Georgia Tech does good. Every couple of years Georgia does good. And it's been non-stop. But right now, the current record goes for Georgia, 70 wins. Georgia Tech, 39. No, Georgia, 30 wins, 39 losses. Their home record's 33, 16-1. Away record's 37, 23, 14. And then conference record is 70, 39-5 with a currently 7-week streak. Or 7 win as a streak. That's the guy just said their first matchup was a loss, 6-28 on November 4th, 1893. In their last 10 matchups, Georgia's 6-2, and then the largest margin of victory is 45-0, which was November 27, 2021. And then the smallest margin of victory was in a win of 18-17. That was actually 11-23, 1995. So smallest victory, man, for them dogs. But hey, wild game to be alive. Total number of points is 2,189, and it's averaging. Our total points is 2,189, and then averaging 19 points per game. So it's been a smackdown, and then the next game will be November 25th, 2023 at Athens. So let's hope for the best for another year for the dogs, but you just never know what's gonna happen. Just never know what's gonna happen with them dogs. But hey, rooting for them, big SEC win for the playoffs. As you know, Georgia's the number 1 team. Currently looking at the college playoffs. College playoffs. I like it when I just like it when my computer freezes. College playoffs, Georgia's number 1, Michigan's number 2, TCU is number 3, and University of Southern California is number 4, with Ohio State at number 5. I'm really hoping, for these ranking systems, I'm really hoping that Georgia and Michigan will meet again I think I hope that'll be a pretty good first round, and I hope we can make it all the way back to the national championship. Maybe we'll see TCU or South California or Southern California, and we'll see what happens. But you just never know. But yeah, that's all. You just never know. And of course, that's going to wrap up this first ever mini episode series. Maybe the next episode. Currently, the World Cup's going on, so hey, go Team USA. And if you're a big soccer fan like I am, I'm just on the edge of my seats because the next World. By the time, of course, this episode's probably about to release here at midnight. Of course, today Team USA's got to beat Team Iran to advance into the next part of the tournament. I just hope they don't get eliminated out of their group stages. I'd love to see them make the next round of the World Cup, even though it'd be cool if they can make it deep as one of the youngest squads going on in the tournament. But hey, until then, hope you guys enjoy this mini episode. As always, thank you for listening. Hey, if you like this, don't forget to check out the Random Hour with my friend Kyle Crump, the podcast where we sit back and talk about random things. Sit back and talk about random things. And then, of course, we've got our newest podcast, the Popcorn Buckets, where we sit back and review a movie of the week. And then we have a YouTube channel called Random Incorporated, where we repost old podcast episodes. Repost podcast episodes on us. So, I know some people like to listen to music and podcasts on YouTube, so it's there for you guys. Some react videos, and of course, other original content that we're making as we go. As always, you guys can send us questions or anything to cover here on More Sports at random.hour cast@gmail.com. And yeah, that's about it. Good. As always, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a good day.